He arrived in Manila carrying medals, students, and certainty. A decorated Korean Taekwondo master who believed speed solved everything. When he was told that a local Arnis instructor wanted to demonstrate Filipino stick work, he smiled politely. Sticks, he said, were relics, useful for coordination drills, maybe tradition, not for dominance. By the end of that week, he would reconsider what dominance truly meant. The seminar was hosted in a quiet training hall in Quezon City. Posters of past tournaments lined the walls. The master's name drew a crowd. His reputation in regional circuits was solid. Powerful kicks, clinical distance control, efficient finishes. He spoke confidently about modern combat evolution, about how athletic refinement had replaced older, less efficient systems. In the back of the hall stood a Filipino Arnis, instructor named Rafael. He wore no federation jacket, no gold embroidery, just a plain training shirt and 2 rattan sticks resting lightly in his hands. He listened as the master explained that weapon arts were transitional tools, stepping stones toward real fighting. Rafael did not interrupt. During a Q&A, a student asked whether the traditional Filipino system could function against elite Taekwondo range. The master answered honestly. He doubted it. Linear power and reach, he explained, would neutralize shorter weapons quickly. The room grew still. Rafael finally stepped forward and offered a respectful proposal, a controlled sparring session. Nothing theatrical, just learning. The master studied him. Rafael's posture was relaxed, almost casual. No tension in the shoulders. No visible aggression. The offer was calm, not confrontational. After a brief pause, the master agreed. Protective gear would be worn. Round 1 with padded sticks. Round 2 empty hand. Full intent, controlled contact. The students sensed something important was unfolding. They began 2 days later. Cameras were set up discreetly for documentation. No flashy promotion. Just a test between disciplines. The master warmed up with dynamic kicks, his hips loose, his stance tall and balanced. Rafael traced slow, triangular steps across the mat, sticks moving in quiet patterns that seemed almost like breathing. Before the first bell, the master spoke to his students. Distance is control. He reminded them, if you manage space, you manage outcomes. Rafael gathered his own small group and spoke softly about angles. Do not chase the center, he said. Enter where nothing expects you. The contrast in philosophy was visible even before contact. The bell sounded. The master opened aggressively, snapping a sharp front kick toward Rafael's midsection to test reaction. Rafael stepped off the line, not backward but diagonally, the kick brushing empty air. A light tapping strike touched the master's lead forearm. Not heavy, just a reminder that range was not fixed. The master reset quickly and advanced with a side kick, using reach to keep the sticks at bay. For a moment, it worked. Rafael circled, sticks weaving in synchronized patterns. Then the rhythm changed. 2 quick strikes landed on the outer wrist and bicep. Controlled contact, but precise. The master's guard tightened. Students noticed the difference immediately. The Taekwondo combinations were explosive but singular. Each attack ended before the next began. Rafael's motion did not stop. Strike flowed into check. Check flowed into counter. The master blocked high against a descending stick, only to feel a controlled tap across his thigh from a new angle. Frustration did not show on the master's face, but his pace increased. He launched a turning kick aimed to force Rafael backward. Instead, Rafael stepped inside the arc, redirecting balance with a light touch to the supporting leg. The kick lost structure mid-motion. A second stick hovered near the shoulder line, illustrating an opening. The referee paused briefly to ensure safety. The master nodded, acknowledging the clean entry. When they resumed, he adjusted strategy. Less high kicking, more hand combinations. He aimed straight down the center line, fists cutting forward with disciplined precision. Rafael's response remained subtle, small deflections guiding strikes away rather than clashing against them. Then came the rhythm shift. Rafael transitioned into Sina Wali patterns, double-stick sequences that layered offense and defense without pause. The master attempted to track the timing, but every predictable beat dissolved into a new angle. A strike to the glove was followed by a low sweep of the stick that disrupted stance without force. Observers saw the geometry emerging. Raphael's footwork formed invisible triangles on the mat. Each step repositioned him outside the master's line of power. Linear attacks met empty space. Counters arrived from peripheral angles. The master's athleticism remained impressive, but the target kept relocating. Midway through the round, the master attempted a spinning reset, seeking distance and reasserting dominance. Raphael closed the gap instead of retreating. One stick checked the arm, while the other traced toward the collarbone line, stopping inches short. The implication was clear. In a different context, that moment would have ended decisively. The bell signaled the end of round one. Both men bowed. Sweat gathered along the master's brow. His breathing was controlled, but heavier than before. Raphael's expression remained composed. There was no celebration, no raised fists, just quiet acknowledgement that something unexpected had occurred. Round two began without sticks. Many anticipated a reversal. Without weapons, surely the master's range and power would dominate. He opened with crisp, punching combinations, integrating these strikes to pressure the inside space. Raphael absorbed the rhythm briefly, hands weaving in compact circles near the chest. When contact was made, the same geometry reappeared. Raphael's forearms redirected punches along subtle arcs. He entered on a slight diagonal, not meeting force directly but sliding past it. A short elbow position emerged from what moments earlier had been a stick angle. The master found his balance tested again. He adjusted quickly, using lateral movement to create space for another kick. The strike launched cleanly, powerful, and fast. Raphael stepped off the line and guided the leg downward with controlled contact, transitioning immediately into a sweep that disrupted stance without impact. The master touched the mat briefly before rising. The exchange intensified. The master's combinations grew sharper, urgency replacing earlier certainty. Yet each time he committed fully, Raphael met him with absence or redirection. Hibbut-style limb control flowed seamlessly from prior weapon rhythms. Hands trapped momentarily, shoulders rotated, and the center line dissolved again. A pivotal moment came unexpectedly. The master launched a high roundhouse, determined to reclaim momentum. Raphael stepped inside the kick's arc, checked the leg, and positioned his forearm across the master's upper frame, guiding him into controlled imbalance. The sequence halted inches before impact. The message did not require force. Silence settled over the room. The master stood upright and adjusted his stance. For the first time, doubt crossed his expression. Not fear, reflection. He realized that his timing assumptions were being manipulated. Each attack created openings he had not anticipated. They resumed. The master tried feints, testing reactions. Raphael responded with minimal movement, conserving energy. When the master stepped forward aggressively, Raphael pivoted along a triangular path and applied a controlled arm drag that led into another sweep. Again, no harm, just positional clarity. The bell ended the second round. There was no dramatic collapse, no injury, only a gradual shift in understanding. The master removed his gloves slowly. Students waited for explanation. Raphael bowed first, as he had before, signaling respect rather than triumph. In the debrief that followed, the master spoke honestly. He admitted he had underestimated the continuity of Arnis. He had assumed weapon work would not translate fluidly into empty hand. What surprised him most was not speed, but the absence of pause between defense and attack. Raphael responded without pride. He explained that Arnis trains awareness of angles before power. The stick is simply an extension of the arm. Remove it, and the geometry remains. He acknowledged the master's athletic precision and discipline. He emphasized that every art evolves through exchange. The students asked questions about the triangular footwork. The master listened closely as Raphael demonstrated how stepping off the center line dismantled linear combinations. He tried the movement himself. Slowly at first, the pattern felt unfamiliar, but its logic became evident. By the afternoon, the two instructors were drilling together. Taekwondo kicks were adjusted to enter from angle positions. Arnis entries were refined against spinning attacks. The atmosphere shifted from tension to collaboration. Cameras captured not rivalry, but integration. Later, in a quiet interview, the master reflected on his earlier skepticism. He explained that modern competition can narrow perception. Systems that do not fit tournament structures are often dismissed prematurely. He acknowledged that what he experienced was not outdated tradition, but refined tactical awareness. As the seminar concluded, there were no trophies, no declarations of superiority, only mutual bows. The visiting master left Manila with more than photographs and footage. He carried a deeper respect for a system rooted in Filipino history and discipline. In the quiet exchange between angles and power, humility had prevailed, and Filipino humanity had stood firm without ever raising its voice.